Do you think they have a big play in as far as controlling the media, the courts, and the lower levels right below the capstone? The Freemasons would be the main players doing that, do you think?
Exactly. They're the foot soldiers. They do all the dirty work. AboveTopSecret.com is absolutely controlled by Freemasons. The majority of moderators there are admitted Masons, and they're super critical and censor anything that's critical of Masonry. And that was what I got kicked off for. Um, my final thread on Above Top Secret was a thread exposing the MM, the double M letter symbology that Masons love to use. You'll notice that the letter M for Masonry or MM for Master Mason is used over and over again, and I was just posting all the research I'd done in that, and I've been posting there for over a year now. They let me post my free book and everything. That wasn't an issue until when I posted this thread. Suddenly, all at once they gave me, like, they're supposed to give you several warnings or something before they ban you. So all at once they gave me all my warnings and my banishment, and just came up with all these old threads that hadn't even been active for several months, and said, oh well, this violated something that it didn't violate. uh, Whatever. And then they kicked me off. And it's clear that it was because of what I was exposing. So they were censoring pretty much. They censored the first few posts in it, the opening posts, for no reason whatsoever. And it was a admitted Mason moderator that did it. And being on there, I was on that website for hours and hours every day for a year or two, and I got to know the work schedule of the Masons there. That there were literally 2 to 3 Mason moderators online for 8 hours a day, and then someone else would come on for another 8 hours, and someone else for another 8 hours. So 24 hours a day, they have Mason moderation going on there. So that's another honeypot where they, everyone finds that right away. You type in any conspiracy subject, and that's the biggest conspiracy forum on the internet. So you're going to get sucked into that, thinking it's genuine, and it's going to take a lot of your time and energy before you figure out. Like, hundreds and hundreds of people have commented on my website. Again, you can go to A19 Conspiracy, click on Above Top Secret, and you'll see I've got almost 500 comments from ex Above Top Secret people who've been kicked off of there for the same thing. There's, like I said, with controlled opposition, there's a certain realm of information that you're allowed to talk about, and you can say whatever you want about fluoride in the water and certain things. But if you touch on certain subjects, you're not going to get too far. Certain subjects about, say, Masonry, about Zionism, about the Jesuits, about Judaism. There's certain about the Holocaust, about the moon landing. There's certain subjects like this that are just really touchy, and they don't want anyone getting on to them, and they'll censor and ban you, and they won't give you any reason for it, and it'll be up to you to figure out why. And when it happens over and over again from these controlled forums, you start to see the thread. You start to see how, okay, in the official alternative media. I consider myself the alternative media. There's there's like the mainstream alternative media, which is your David Icke, Alex Jones, Above Top Secret. There's a new accepted norm of conspiracy where you can talk about 9/11 being an inside job, but you can't talk about it possibly happening because of directed energy weapons or being a Zionist operation. You can talk about Zionism a little bit, but you can't talk about Judaism in general, or different things like this. They'll have, or you can talk about the moon landing in passing. You can ask why there's no stars in the background and why the flag's waving, but don't go any further than that. I mean, there's an accepted realm of truth, and then there's no land, and anybody who dares tread quickly finds out that there is an alternative media out there of people who've been kicked out of the alternative media and are now trying to scream from the fringes.
Yeah, it's either they just went back to silence in their day jobs and are sitting in
Yeah.
the silence, or they're like us with our blogs and podcasts, right? Making no money. And
Right.
so yeah, no, I like that term, the alternative, the AA. So I think we could start our own movement. I think it's about everybody on my Skype list. There's about 30. You're 30. Oh, you're my 33rd podcast. So you and what's funny is that all the people in my Skype list are just people such as yourself, because I never used it before. I never had a need until doing these podcasts where we do them around the world and everybody's in different time zones, and the recording these conversations is a lot easier via Skype. But it's great. Have this power list, so I think I have the AA already built, brother. So
Yeah, we gotta make the 12 steps and we'll recover everybody.
exactly. The unsecret secret society, right? There will be no bake sales or handshakes. So what do you think the end goal plan is of this global elite? What did they have planned for us?
Well, I mean, a psychopath's MO is always power and control. They have no real control or balance in their inner life, so they strive to control and balance things outside of themselves by manipulating people and using their influence to make the outside world fit their twisted inside world. So it's the same thing it's always been to have more power, more control, to the point that I mean, what they would love, I'm sure, would be a robot-like race of humans who unquestioningly go about doing their every will. That would be their ultimate fantasy would be to have complete, world government, complete economic control, brainwashing to the point that we don't question anything. There's no critical thought or independent thinking. It's just complete groupthink dictated by the social engineers, the culture creators who decide how and what we're supposed to think. If they say jump, we enthusiastically ask how high. That's the end goal. They'll never get there, but that's the end goal because that's just how psychopaths are. That's what their inner world is like. They don't have real relationships with anybody. All relationships are a means to an end, and their end is for them to do what they want them to do. They just use people as a pawns for sex, money, whatever it is that they want. So I'm sure that's the end goal. It's nothing,
No,
it's not that romantic.
no, it's really, to me, it's simple that we've been governed for thousands of years. If we're not in a nomadic tribe or living in the Amazon jungle, you are most likely governed by some type of king or pharaoh or so forth, and governing the people has always been a problem. So getting it down to a science, I would think, would be the ultimate goal of this elite, which I believe we're in those times now. And you see this science spreading around the world to countries such as the one you're living in now in Thailand, and everywhere, where they will implement this science because it is a science wherever they have control. And if they don't have control, you better believe they're going to go in there and get it sooner or later. So I definitely believe it's a simple plan, and I agree it is to manage a bunch of passive slaves. And I also believe that gets boring, so they got to mix it up a little bit. Whether that be some revolutions, wars, and conspiracies that they add in there. And if you research this over the last few thousand years, there's always shifts in power, and the game has sometimes changed. So I have a little bit of hope that there is hope for us AAs out there, that we may have our day, whether that will be in this life or a future life.
But first of all, let's talk about what happened at ATS. What do you know about it?
Okay, I know you've been banned. That's the
Right.
extent of it, and we don't actually know why. What we know about it is that, or what we think we know, is that it's a CIA front and managed by the CIA. So if you've been banned, it might be that you're getting too hot.
That's what I think. And when I first joined ATS maybe 3 years ago, I thought, you know what? This is just a collection point for what people think is going on, so that they know what the general public thinks is going on. And they have a bunch of debunkers there that are, you know, paid to go in there, and somebody talks about something, they say, oh, no, no, here's what's really going on. You know,
Right.
so they generally, influence public